This week I head to the San Rafael Swell for some solo camping. I have really enjoyed making this local lander series. Welcome to episode 6. A portion of this episode is sponsored by Anchor Solix and features their new C800 Plus. This area right on the border of the San Rafael Swell is majestic to say the least, especially from the air because the cliffs have eroded in a way that looks like a giant lightning strike, but just made out of sandstone. The scale of these buttes in the middle of the desert is like camping in the shadows of giants. It's been a little while since I've had a solo trip, so I'm getting myself more accustomed to the quiet, and I have to say, it's always an adjustment. I've seen a few Instagram posts about top-down fires, so this is my first time trying one. Let's see how it goes. I've been asked a few times about this decked single drawer system, and I can't say that it's my favorite. I'm getting used to it, but I still prefer the dual drawer. Honestly, I don't think this is my forever setup anyway, so if nothing else, I'm adapting. It was freezing this morning, absolutely cold, and I had planned to have yogurt, but I decided that I would try these Peak Refuel dehydrated biscuits and gravy. I've never had a Peak Refuel meal before, so this is my first time. The measurement was like 1 1/3 cup of water. Luckily, I had the Dometic there, but I think I overfilled that little Jetboil cup. It's all right. So I am not a coffee drinker, and I generally only use my Jetboil to heat up water for showers. So rarely do I actually use it to cook with. This will be one of the first times I'm using it to cook. At this point, I'm feeling pretty leery about my breakfast, and I do know that I have the yogurt and granola as a backup. But when I looked in there and I saw that it was like full biscuits, I don't know. I started to realize maybe it's not going to be so bad. So the idea is you pour in the hot water, you mix it up, and then you let it sit for 10 minutes. You can see on the back of the bag there, it's 570 calories for half the bag, or 1,100 for the entire bag. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I have gone through so many camp chairs. For the last few years, my my front runner chair has been the front runner that I would pick. Pun intended, I guess. But this year I've added the Rome Adventure Cone chair, and it's comfortable. It's not exactly a upright chair, it's more of a lounger, and that's why we added it to the mix. Is sometimes when you're chilling around the fire, you need to just relax. Anyway, you can see I added too much water. Still tasted delicious, and after seeing the calorie rating on the back of the bag, I definitely didn't eat the whole thing. One thing about this single drawer system from Decked is that you lose your tailgate space. And I haven't really enjoyed that. I've gotten used to using their box and kind of pulling their boxes out when I need them, but it hasn't been my favorite. So again, I'm not planning on changing it until I make a big change to the setup. So for now, I'm just adapting. Time for some liquid concentration. On solo trips like this, the Go Fast Camper has been really good to me. It's quick to set up. It's quick to get into it. You know, for one person, I kind of have it set up in that bunk mode. In case you're wondering what bike rack I'm running, this is the rigged Ultra Swing with the Ramble rack where normally a spare tire mount would be, which raises my bike up. And if I'm carrying two bikes, has them kind of staggered, one high, one low. Keeps a nice healthy departure angle, and I don't really have to worry about the bike dragging in the mud. Plus I can see it really easily through my mirrors. I want to say that I did alpha test something on this trip, and that was recording audio while driving with the drone up. And I set up a microphone on my bumper, one on the front, one on the rear. And it wasn't until after I heard all this that I realized I didn't have the windscreens on. So there is some wind noise. But this area here in southern Utah is really cool. It is extremely Martian. I mean, just look at it. It genuinely feels like I'm driving on another planet, except for the occasional bush that pops up. But these rocks, the formations, the colors, all of it is very alien. And I have to say that it's one of my favorite areas. It is where I planned to camp. However, as I reached the end of this road, there was a rock slide on the trail I'd planned. So as cool as these shots are, I didn't actually get to camp in these colors. So that took me back into the San Rafael Swell, where I knew I could find a camp spot pretty easily and I could get to work because I needed to make a video for Anchor. And again, I am so sorry about that wind noise. It'll be better in the next one, I promise. But it is pretty cool to have that sound so it matches exactly to the drone shot. So that means every squeak and creak and bump is recorded and looks appropriate rather than superimposing audio. Now this camp spot I'm heading to here is one I visited when I had the two-door Bronco, which fit a lot better than the Gladiator did. But it's a spot I've wanted to return to, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get the Gladiator out there and set up shop on this little pedestal. The thing is, there's this new, well, it was there when I had the Bronco, but this fire pit is obnoxious. Whoever built it right in the middle of the camp spot. So not ideal for for actually camping around it with a vehicle. Maybe if you had a ground tent, or if you were bike camping, because I do know that there are a few mountain bike routes that run through here. In case you're wondering what filter I'm using to color these images, absolutely nothing. This is straight out of camera. I do shoot log, but it's just color graded from log to Rec 709 to those who speak the language. So this is just kind of that natural look of a Utah desert. And I love when the light is like this because it does look, well, it looks like a look. It looks like I've created something here, but it's just the natural look of Utah in the desert. And I absolutely love it because it does have kind of an old Western feel to it. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, a portion of this video is sponsored by Anchor Solix, and I'd like to introduce you to that portion of the video. So thank you, Anchor Solix, for sponsoring this video. Anchor Solix has been pretty involved with the channel for the last month or so as they launched the new C800 Plus and their C1000. The C800 Plus was really the staple to my entire power needs for this trip. I've been using it to power my Starlink, which I'm unwrapping now. This is actually a 24-inch monitor case that holds the new Gen 3 Starlink perfectly. And wouldn't you know it, that the C800 Plus powers it perfectly. It was really cool on this trip to have Starlink. This is actually my very first trip that I had my new Starlink dish. And having it and then being able to power it off of the C800 Plus without worrying about my starter battery or anything like that dying, because Starlink, for whatever reason, draws a bit of power. Maybe because, I don't know, it's talking to space. But it was nice at night to be able to FaceTime my wife. And again, all of it powered 100% on the C800 Plus. I also use the C800 Plus to charge all my drone batteries and the like. So without it, this video honestly wouldn't exist. And there you go. You can see as I focus on my phone, Starlink is running. That's too high. How about like that? So here's the story. This camp spot I've wanted to camp at forever. I came here with the two-door Bronco and it fit great. The Gladiator, it's kind of fitting. The thing is, it could work if this fire pit hadn't been constructed where it is. I'm a little uneasy how close I am to the edge. Just less than a month ago, there was a guy out at Moonscapes. I think he was young. He's like 21 or younger. He was kind of on one of these shell edges and it gave way and he fell to his death. So I'm not big on parking this close to the edge. And I have a buddy that's on his way to meet up with me tonight. So it's probably not the best idea to try and squeeze both vehicles on this tiny spot. So even though I've set up, I'm going to move about 200 feet that direction. I'm not going to take the tent down. I am going to put Starlink away, which is fine, whatever. I needed it to get in contact with everybody. So one day I'll have it hard mounted. But for now, I'm going to put it away, kind of quasi pack up, and I'm going to drive the 200 feet over to the other camp spot where it'll be a lot larger for both of us to fit and a little further from an edge. And I guess if we want to come out here and chill and make a fire or whatever we're going to do, like, this spot's still totally accessible. So let's move Winston here and get over there. Don't ask me why I'm putting the cover back on, all right? Just doing it. It's a nice chair. I don't want it to get ruined. So this is actually really cool. So Wes from Outside Magazine turned me onto this. This is a monitor bag, but it fits the new Gen 3 Starlink perfectly. So that's what I use. Keep my dish safe, and then all of that other junk fits in this pocket, which I'm not going to put there because I got to set it up in like a minute anyway. We'll drive with the tent open. I think I may have used this shot as my thumbnail. I should have. If I didn't, remind me in the comments that this should have been my thumbnail, because that shot is so pretty. Also, the truck handles pretty well with the camper open, going about 3 miles an hour. Didn't have to worry about the bike smacking on anything there. That is why I have the bike rack set up the way I do. This is one of the worst parts of my job. I know that I'm getting a good shot, but I'm, 200 yards away from the camera. So inevitably, I have to walk back. All right, let's get everything set up again. This camp spot had an enormous fire pit set up. It had a whole heat reflector rock wall built. It had benches. So as I'm setting up my chair here, I'm realizing I'm not going to need the chair. There's a bench. I have to keep reminding myself, too, that this video was filmed in February in the Utah desert. So even though the sun is out and it looks like it's a beautiful summer day, it was very cold. And as the sun drops, so does the temperature. I used the last bit of daylight to just kind of hang out. I FaceTimed my wife, let her know that I found a camp spot. I also let Colton know where I was because he was on his way. And then I decided, let's try another top-down fire, see how it does. It's cold. I could use the heat. And that's what we're doing here. I can't say that I'm sold on them yet, but it did build an incredible bed of ashes. So if I were cooking using a fire, this is definitely the method. In past videos, I would strike my own fire, and I've since picked up this Snow Peak torch. And when it's cold and you need heat, there's something about pulling this torch out and really just getting your fire started in a matter of seconds. No fuss, no muss. You have fire. One cool thing about the C800 Plus is that it has 2 built-in lights and a telescoping pole. So as I was getting ready to make dinner, I remembered that. And this is me setting up that pole. It's got a magnetic ball top, and the 2 lights can just, well, stick to it using almost magic. And it does give infinite adjustability to point the light wherever I need it. So I set one light up there. And then as I was getting the rest of my stuff ready, I realized I could probably use another light. So I hung the second light just from the latch on my Go Fast camper, because the lights not only have a magnetic bottom, but also have a ring to let you hang it from things. Tonight I'm cooking a sous vide basil lemon chicken. So back at home, I pre-cooked the chicken in my sous vide, and then I re-vacuum sealed it and threw it in the Dometic fridge so that when I got to camp, all I had to do was take it out of the bag and reheat it, add a sear. I can't say I'll ever go back to carrying raw meat. Having a sous vide at home to prep my meals before I even leave has been, I hate to use the cliche term, absolutely game-changing. I no longer worry about raw chicken or any of the side effects that come with carrying raw meats at all. Plus, it just tastes better because it's prepped well at home. In the Overland community, I think the Partner Steel Stove is kind of a benchmark for you made it status on Instagram. And that's why I bought one, because I thought I'd made it on Instagram. And I have to say, it really isn't my favorite stove. The thing is, I just haven't found one to replace it yet. I do like that it's a single burner stove. I like that it's, reasonably compact, but it isn't my favorite. And I don't know if there's one out there that is yet. So if you're using a good single burner stove that's compact and doesn't cost $1 million, let me know in the comments what you're using, because I'm kind of on the market, but not really. But, I'm always interested to see what's out there. Last time I did this, I had too much grapeseed oil and nearly lit myself on fire. So I'm placing the chicken on the pan away from the fire. And there we go. Let's sear this thing and get it reheated. That looks delicious. I would totally eat that again. I mean, what's a solo camping video without watching some food cook on a pan? If you've never been solo camping, I do have to say that getting used to the quiet and the solitude, it's a skill, much like the skill of cutting chicken, which I'm not very good at, but it's going on a salad, so having it quasi-shredded, I'm okay with. Plus, this is camp. There's no yes chef here, it's just me. Another benefit of the Ultra Swing bike rack carrier that I have is that it does double as a table. So where I have that single drawer now from the deck, I can get back a little bit of my cook space by having this swing out table attached to the bike rack. Pretty beneficial. It's one of those quick mix salads, add the chicken to it, and boom, I now have dinner. How come I'm not skinny yet? when I set up this shot, I didn't realize I'd be sitting right in front of the fire. I thought I'd be off to the side of it, and you'd get this shot of the truck with the lights and the C800 Plus. So I adjusted, and here we are. I'd like to thank you for catching this video. As the credits roll, I want to let you know that we are expecting our first child. Baby Nora will be here in May, and we're beyond excited. My wife has been buying so many baby clothes. Everyone keeps asking if we have a registry. We do. It is linked in the description. Thank you.